I want to welcome you to the most important lesson that will elevate your nail art game. That is a lesson on how to use nail art brushes. I'm Tina Vo, and welcome to my online nail art class. So this is my nail art master brush kit, and this is going to be your favorite lesson this month, or this year for that matter of fact. This lesson can literally change your life. So let's open this case and explore what's in it. So we have 12 brushes total in this case. I am going to go through and name each of them with a short description, and then I'm going to dive right into hand demonstration for you to see how I draw and paint and do all kind of special effect with these brushes. And by the end of this video, you are going to be a better artist. This is the 7mm details, and it can do straight or curved detail, which means short lines, and it can do thick or thin lines. This is 20mm liners, and it can do straight line, long line, and it's specialized in thin line only. This is 10mm brush. It is specialized in straight or curved line, and it can do thick or thin stroke. So it's just like the 7mm detail, but it's for longer line instead of for short detail. This is Emboss Brush, and it's for painting gels and color blocking. This is Coloring Brush. It's for coloring gels and glazing with top coat. This is Round Brush. It is for texture design and flowing shape like petal shape. This is Oval Brush. It is for contouring application, and it's for cleaning up gels or like cleaning up French tips. And this is Shading Brush. Shading brush is also for clean up small area or for shading small area. This is One Stroke Brush. It is for one stroke painting or gradient floral stroke. This is Marble and FishTail. This is for marbling ink. Ombre Brush. It is for ombre, for blending, shading, and it's also for gels marble. This is Pigment Brush. Pigment Brush is for blending. It's working with nail art pigment, and it's the only brush that use dry. The rest of them you use with gel and you wash it with solvent, where this one you use with nail art pigment, which is dry, and then you clean it dry. So this is a dry brush, and that is all 12 brush. Now let's take out the 7mm details, the 20mm liners, and the 10mm liner. We're gonna start with that. Now, when it comes to using and loading the brush, most people that just first started out using brush, what they would do is they will go in and they will take the brush and they will just stroke it out like this. And that is incorrect. So we're going to show you how I load the brush. This is my brush conditioning cleanser. It is an oil base, so you can clean your brush while the oil is conditioning your brush at the same time. And the oil formula are safe with gels product. This is an old bottle that I have completely used up, and that's why the logo like this. But I only have a little bit of this left. But what it does is, when you work with gels, it is compatible, so it's not dangerous with gel product. And whenever that I first use my brush, I make sure that there's nothing in it. So you can see how the hair bristles are spreading apart like this. You can see it. And that is a good sign that the brush is completely taut. It doesn't stick together. There's nothing in the hair bristle. There's no gel that are dry up in the hair. So that's good. And I'm going to wipe it off. Now, you see what I just did where all the hair bristles were fanning out? That's what I'm gonna do with the gel too. So there is two parts of loading the brush. Part one is packing in the gels like this. I'm gonna press it like what I just did here. So when all the hair press or fanning out, I'm gonna roll it. Watch my finger. Roll it side to side. So I'm completely saturate the brush with gels. And if you don't do this step, you just stroke it out, then what happens is gel will only coat it on the outside of your brush. And when you draw, it's not going to be smooth. You're going to run out of gels. So that is already a faulty start if you were doing that. So this is a really good knowledge for you to know. You have to roll the brush to pack it first. And then when it completely saturated with gels, you can pour it out. And the reason for the stroking is to make it slim so you can draw. And then that is the only thing that you need to do when you first started to draw and paint is loading your brush, stroke it out. Then when you draw, when you come back to it, you don't need to load your brush again because gel is already inside your brush. They are moving in and out very smoothly. So when you go back to it, you just need to stroke it out a little bit like this. And draw and then go back, stroke it out a little bit like this. So the packing is what you need to do when you first started with that client. But that's the only time that you need to do it is the one time when you first started. And then you can just dip it in a little bit, draw, dip it in a little bit and draw. Now, you wash it. Let me put a little cleaner in here and wash it. So you wash it up, the gel right here, so it's completely off your brush. If you move on to another color or you move on to the same color, then yes, you need to pack it again because there's no gel in your brush, so you need to pack it again and stroke it out. So that's how you do it. There will be a complete lesson on brush maintenance and how you clean your brush, more detail on why are you loading your brush like that and how to keep your brush nice and safe and all that. That will be a lesson on brush maintenance. But this lesson is to show you what each brush does. So let's start it on that. Now, this is my 10mm liners. This is 20mm liner. See how long it is compared to the others. And this is 7mm detail, the shortest brush. So we have these. So let's start out with the 20 first. So these are liner brush. And I have all three. Anyone that first started, they don't know what to buy, they can buy the 10mm first, because I use that a lot. But I have all three brushes out. The 20 have a long and thin and flexible body. Now, when it comes to straight line, this is perfect. Because what it does is, this brush right here is absorb impact, meaning this. When I touch it, you see how it's bent like that? So whatever I did right here in my hand doesn't really affect the head, basically. So anything that are bent like this is absorb impact. So if you shake, see whatever up in the air is shaking, not necessarily what down here that already in contact with the nails. Something that doesn't absorb impact is a hard object like this, where when I touch it, whatever impact I have is transferred right to the tip. And something that are bendy, that are loose, that are like seemingly weaker, those objects is absorb impact. So when I do a line like this, I draw a line and I draw a straight line because it's so perfect for straight line. I'm gonna start right here and I'm just gonna go down. Now, what you notice about it is this brush is so thin. Or the line is so thin. And the reason why it's thin because it's absorb impact. So impact, the thick or thinness is based on how I press it. Okay, if I press hard, it's gonna be thick. If I press lightly, it's gonna be thin. It doesn't work with this brush. This brush, if you accidentally press a little bit, which is one of people's problem when they draw it, they cannot control their pressure. This is the easiest brush. Because not only you can do thin line, if you press a little bit, it's still going to be thin. It's not sensitive to your hand pressure. And the reason why straight line are easy because it's bent. So if you actually shake a little bit to the left, shake a little bit to the right, it's fine. It can travel very easily. So that is a story of the 20mm liner. If you want it thicker, you have to trace it again like this. It cannot just be thick upon pressure. You have to go on it again, which is very easy. Now, the thing about it is movement. 20mm doesn't have a lot of movement. It's only have straight. Now, if I want to curve, I can curve a little bit. Let me curve a little bit. Okay, that's a curve. A bit long. A bit long. Now, if I want a short, like, let's say if I want to draw half the circle and really small, ooh, that's a little difficult. See, I can draw the head well. So, look like I can pull that up. But a person that doesn't control the head well and not controlling the head, meaning if I touch the head barely on the surface, that is called head control, meaning I can just stay at this point and draw. Now, a person that doesn't control the head will do this. When they draw, they will press a little bit down like that. That is realized on the body of the brush. And if you were to do that with curve, see that? So difficult. It's very difficult. So when it comes to movements, it's only for long line. Short line will be fine too. Like I can do a short line right here. That's fine, as long as it's straight. Just remember that 20mm is for straight line. You can do slightly curve as long as it's really long like this. So again, the only reason why it can do a curve because it's long. So still remember it as it's with long line and thin. So you can draw it down to your note long and thin. Okay. So we already understanding the 20mm. Let's talk about the 10 and the 7, okay? 10mm liner, 7mm details. The shorter it is, the more sensitive it is to your hand pressure. This could be a good thing or could be a bad thing, depend on how you look at it. Now, if I were to use in head control, meaning touching my head lightly and run, can be thin. Still can do a long line, but slightly more difficult than a 20mm liner. You have to like move your hand more because it's shorter. You have to move more. If it's longer, you don't have to move a lot. So it can do long to medium line. This is what it like when it's thin. But when you want it thick, you just use the body. You just press. There you go. It gets thicker. See that? It gets thicker. Now, this is a very good thing. If that is what you want, if what you're capable of is switching pressure like that, press for thick or just use the head for thin. Now for beginners, when you first started out and you want to do a thin line, let's say you don't have the 20mm, you're using the 10 and you want to do a thin line, okay? But if you accidentally switch your pressure, there is thick again. So it can get inconsistent because it's sensitive to your hand movement. Well, this is not sensitive to your hand movement at all, to your hand pressure, so it's easy to keep it thin. But this is more sensitive to your hand pressure, so it can be good or bad, to depend on you. Same with the 7mm detail. The shorter it is, the more sensitive it is to your hand pressure. And it doesn't really absorb impact as well as the 20mm. So this is like a pen almost, especially the 7mm detail. So thin or thick stroke. This is only thin stroke. Okay, this is thin or thick. Now, these have limited movement, which is only straight line. These can do anything, especially this. Full range of motion, meaning if you want to do like twirl and curve, it's perfect. 7 millimeter is perfect for it. See, curve with ease. Or I can shift pressure. Can start out thick and end up thin, just like that. See, thick and thin. Or start out thin, thick again, thin again, thin, thick again, thin again, and there is a lip shape. See that? The sky is the limit with this brush. So, how you remember it, I put out all 3 brush again, and I will simplify it. The longer it is, the easier it is. The shorter it is, the harder it is. Okay, unless you're really skillful, or unless you draw for a long time. So I told you I'm gonna simplify it. So the longer it is, the easier it is. The shorter it is, the more sensitive it is to your hands. So the harder it is. The longer it is, the less motion it can perform. The shorter it is, the more full range of motion it can perform. So more motion, less motion. Easier, harder. So that is how you can shift back and forth. And the 10 millimeter is diverse. It's in between. It's versatile. I can do a lot with it. And then this, I save it for when I want to do thin line or when I do straight line. When I intimidate it with lines, I'm using this because this is easy to use. And whenever I'm just so confident and I really need to shift my pressure, I need to draw a leaf, I need to do everything like without being able to use pressure, a person will have to do this. They will have to draw a frame, a thin curve, another thin curve, and then they can curl it. And that is how a beginner would do. Okay, but a person that do this for a long time will be like, I need the 7 millimeter detail. Start out thin, thick, thin, thin, thick, thin. See how I can just whip that out just with the pressure. So that is when you desire freedom and you should be like, I am ready for the 7 millimeter details. I'm gonna use it to rock it. Okay, so that is the story of Ombre Brush. How you cleaned it is exactly like how you first started. Is you place in the body flush against the surface and you twirl it just so the hair bristle can be separate like this. I would do the same thing in this. I don't really put a cleanser out in the palette. I put it right here. But this, when I do this, it looks like I'm poking it into the jar. And I don't want you to mistake it like that. I don't want you to stab it. It would ruin your brush head. So you just place it flush against the wall and you just twirl it. And see, it's in shape because it's an oil base. Now, if it twirl out like this, you just have to take your hand and flush it back just a little bit. If it's not going in, you take a little bit more cleanser and you're doing this and it will just go in and will just stay there and it will keep your shape of your brush for you. Because this is oil based, so it's not like a solvent like alcohol or acetone where it's evaporate. Okay, so this is a perfect cleanser for it. Now, I clean this up right here. And we are ready for the next brushes. By the way, I have a brush holder that I use. I love this. I put it back right here. I have all 3 sides for you to put bigger one in the back and the one in the front like this. So I'm gonna put it in. They call a crystal brush stand just for you. I'm gonna slowly put it in. And then my master brush kit is come with a case, okay, for travel. But at home, I'm using the crystal brush stand instead of the case. It's up to you. I don't know how you operate it. If you like to put it in the case all the time, you can. And Emboss Brush, I'm gonna explore that next. And curling brush. Apply that. Okay, let's take it out. Now, these look like liner, but they have a thicker body, and they are extremely important. More important than the liners. Now, I use a liner more, but if I don't have these, I'll cry. These are important when you dive deeper into your art. Now, to start this out, I am gonna go back to the 10mm liner and drawing a French tips, okay? And the French tips. So, I am taking this, starting right here, doing a curve, starting right here, another curve. Life seem to be perfect so far, and then it's come to the coloring. So back in the day, people do this. I do this. Okay, do you see me trying to color? This is how life used to be. Painful. But we don't know it because we just used to it. You know, we just sit there and we do that all day. No. Emboss Brush is your answers. I want you to watch this. I'm going to load it in. I'm not going to show you how I load it because I already showed you in the beginning. So that is how I load all my brush. But look at this. A thicker body. Still like a liner. It have the pointed tip and everything. But filling is so easy with the Emboss Brush. You can do the same thing with the curling brush. I'll tell you the different later. But when it comes to this, it's perfect. Now, when it comes to color block, I prefer the Emboss Brush more than curling brush because since it's long, I can twirl it. It's hard to use the shorter brush to twirl like this. But for a longer brush, it's awesome. So, see, it's not just for filling in color. This is for painting too, like color blocking. I call it this color blocking. Yeah, when I do the whole block like this, and then I paint it, and it's so fast, it's so easy. Emboss Brush, oh, my absolute favorite. Even though I don't use it more than 10mm liners, I needed it. When you have this brush, you cannot go without it. You'll cry, you'll be sad. When you use this brush to get... Now, if you haven't had this brush, you will know how painful life is. But when you have this brush, you never go back. So that's the curling the Emboss Brush. And another thing that you can do is when you work with texture gels, you know, texture gel are thicker, or 3D gels, it's thicker. So obviously a liner gonna have much of a hard time to deal with it than a bigger brush like the Emboss Brush. I don't use curling brush because it's too short, it's gonna drown it. So Emboss Brush, that's why I call Emboss, because I can dip this in like this, see, and I can whip out big amount like this, look. Perfect, okay? Versus a liner brush, it pained me to even take a delicate liner brush and like going in here. I was like, oh, I hope my brush is okay. So definitely, this is perfect for this. And look. See what's going on? Take up so much gel, big amount of gel, heavy gels, and just run along the surface like this. I'll do one more line for you. See, really, really big and bulky, and it can wrestle these amount of gel very well. And it have a fine point, so it can go into the fine point. But if you want even sharper, then you pick up the 10mm liners and you just continue like this. See, and it get finer. That's why you need brushes. That's why you need different brushes. So you don't like trying to conjure the perfection with your mind. You can just pick up the brush and let it do its things. So, why is curling brush right here even exist when you have something like the Emboss Brush where it can work with heavy gels, it can paint, it can fill in colors? What's going on with this brush? So it's shorter, okay? This brush is shorter. It can do the exact same things like the Emboss Brush. It can fill in, it can colors, and it don't move well like Emboss Brush. Let me try to do a French tip. See, it don't move well because it's shorter. It's short and stiff. So it don't move well, but it have a thicker body. So it can do the same thing like Emboss Brush. It can wrestle with any heavy gels. It can fill in just like the Emboss Brush. When it comes to filling and all of that and painting, I prefer the Emboss Brush. So this is a coloring brush. It can do that as well. Okay, it's just shorter. So why is it exist? Let's take out this design. And I'm gonna take out some top coat. Okay, so let's say I haven't sealed the gold yet. I need to seal it. Okay, I need to put some top coat on it. Now, the Emboss Brush, when you put top coat in, it can hold top coat. It have a thick body, but it have a fine point. Okay, top coat gonna clip down just a little bit and maintain this point, but this is still a fine point. And when you are filling in the fine point, you literally drawing. Okay, because if you press really hard, all the top coat, it will splash out. It will be unattractive. So you use a fine point to literally draw. Okay, which is fine. It's good. But the coloring brush is have a blunt point. It look pointy, but when you soak in top coat, it have a blunt point. And when it comes to filling, it's like this, 1, 2, you literally just need one stroke. Okay, just like that. And especially this bead right here, perfect. Just smudge it over it. So you don't draw, because when you have a point like this, you draw like this. This is draw when you dragging it. Okay, that's drawing. A blunt point, you can literally do this, like that, using the head. Okay, it have the body doesn't have anything to do with it. The body is just holding top coat, and you're just using the head. So the movement is different, the distribution is different, and coloring brush are master with liquidy gel like top coat or stained glass gel or anything that is super thin and liquidy is hold very well. It is like, in a simple term, it is like the difference between drawing with a brush and drawing with a pen. Coloring brush is like a pen. Ooh, like that, see? This is easier, faster. So that build, that structure is what makes them different. And this is Emboss and Coloring Brush. They are both for painting, coloring, filling in. One is built for working with thicker gels. One is built for working with thin, liquidy gels. I put all my lines on this side, and then I put the thick one separately. I leave a little space for it so I can grab it. I know exactly where they are, and I can just grab it really quick. Now, let's come here and take out our round brush. Round brush are similar like the coloring brush and the emboss brush. It's way thicker. Okay, it's round. Like the emboss brush or the coloring brush, round brush, you can also fill in with it. It's filling faster than coloring brush because it's bigger, but I still recommend the coloring brush or the emboss brush for coloring because of its the emboss brush have a fine point. So just in case you color in and you get into a corner or an edge when you do French, you can use the emboss brush. Now this, when I have gel on it, it can get pretty blunt up here. So when it comes to coloring, I still prefer the emboss brush or the coloring brush. But when it comes to round brush, it's super strong. Okay, and the way it's built, it is for flowing shape or petal shape like this. Like if I get a gel that are non-cell level, like white texture gel, where it show texture while I paint, I can press. You see this? You see this stroke right in here? You cannot make this kind of stroke with a thin brush. It has to have strength, so it can make sure that these are thin and almost like see-through. That's what I call a petal shape. Okay, you to make flower petal like that. And of course, you need a gel. You don't need a polish. A polish, this will try to blend back. When you make these texture, it will blend back together. White texture gel is keep the texture the same because it's built for textures. And you ever want to make something like this, I bet you see something like this online before and you just couldn't make it because you don't have the gel for it. You don't have the brush for it. The brush is to make the texture and the gel is to maintain it. Look at that. Beautiful. And again, if you really need to like take the 7mm details and doing this, you're more than welcome to. That's what brushes are for. See? You can make whatever you want work for you. Just like that. Just let it work for you. Okay, zoom out. Take all of this out. Short story for the round brush. She's the cousin of the emboss and the coloring brush. So you already understand them, so you understand her very easily. This is for design. Okay, so you just remember round brush is for flowing shape, for texture design. So let's put it in. This is oval brush. Okay. Now, oval brush are a flat brush. And it's a flat brush with no corner. It's in an oval shape. Unlike this where it's have corner. And oval brush is for application. Like this is application. Yeah, what you apply. But the thing is, because of its curvatures, it can contour. So what is contour? Contour meaning this. Where you paint it round. You know what I mean? When you're not just painting it up and down like what you do with like a flat brush. The flat brush, you go up and down. It's not very good idea to move anywhere else but straight down. This can move, especially near your cuticle. When you're working with your client near your cuticle, this is perfect right there. And also with builder gel, like this. So you can scoop it on like this. And remember that this brush doesn't make to move just straight down, but it can move on the sides. You see, when people doing builder gel, they love to move in a contour pattern. And this brush is perfect. It's made to move from side to side more effortlessly. It can curve, see, curve all the way down. So this is a motion that this brush is very good for. And it can do the exact opposite. Instead of applying gels, it can remove gel. I told you that its curvature, it has full range of freedom to move. See that? Its curvature is so important because it's not just moving up and down. It can move however it wants to. Curve. So just because it can do a curve, it can go like this, even like this. This is like a French. See that? It can curve here, curve in, curve again. Gotta remove it again because this is a pretty opaque gel, art gel. See? Yeah, a flat cannot do this. Look at the way it's moved. It can curve and twist and swirl and do wavy patterns. So this brush have full range of motion. One of the most important brush too when it comes to application and removal is very important. Like if you don't have this, you pretty much have to find like a flat or one stroke brush, and it's just not ideal for me. Like since the day that I have this, I always needed it whenever I have a task that is built for. I always needed this brush. So Ombre Brush, how you remember it is contour, okay? And contour is doing this, curve, contour, and both application and removal. So that's Ombre Brush. Ombre Brush, I put it right here in the middle. And you can put it right where you can reach to, like that, see that? Now, this is the shading brush, a distant cousin of the Ombre Brush, but with a different build. And to do this shading brush, I gotta do the Ombre Brush too, because they are similar in functionality. Okay, so Ombre Brush, let me do that first, because that's more simple. It's for ombre. Okay, let's take this pink nude and apply it right here. When it comes to ombre, you do in a thin layers like this. Don't do thick layer. Thick layer wouldn't work. Do more than one layers, but do it thin layer like this. And ombre, see, my ombre brush of full spectrum is very easy to blend. You target right here at the edge, and you just stroke it down like that. Dry brush. You don't need to get any top coat, anything. You just do it like that. See that? It's ombre immediately. And what people go wrong is they go up here and they keep stroking it down. You just target the edge. You target the edge and you blend it down. And then you wipe it in between. And then you come up here and the edge is right about here. It's a new edge. And you blend that out. So that's an ombre brush. Okay, I'm gonna go back to it because it don't do just ombre. But I just show you the basic form of ombre. But let's say you doing portrait, okay? Tiny little detail. Let's go like in here. Tiny little detail like this, okay? So if you want to brush that out, this will be a little awkward because it's big. It's for ombre the nails, like mostly the whole nail or a big section of the nail. This is where the shading brush come in. It to blend small little area because it's flat. So it have a strong body, but the tip is very delicate. And the tip is what you only use, is a tip. The body is just for the strength, but the tip is very delicate that you can use it to feather the thing out like this. See that? I'm feathering it out. Go in here and feather it out. So that is what it's for. And besides the blend, look how beautiful the blend too. Besides the blending, it's also to remove. You can use it to like, you know, remove like tiny little detail. When you work with detail work, it have a fine point. So that is a story of shading brush to shade small area. But let's come back to the ombre though, because I mentioned gels marble before. If you have fun gel like this, where you marbleize it and you want to transform that beautiful pattern on the nails. Now, these are trendy and people seen it, they try it, but a lot of people quit doing this except for T-Nouveau customer. Because T-Nouveau customer have the right tool, but more people, they will use any brush that look like this, that are solid, okay? They use a solid brush. And what they do is they will scoop it out like this. Okay, they scoop this, and you cannot just flip over and apply on nail. It will be a hot mess. You have to let it on top of a wet background, and you have to slowly guide it out. But at some point, it'll be unattractive, and you have to scoop more colors. And you have to add into it, okay? Now, the reason why it's a little difficult, because this brush is solid, meaning nothing coming down here. You have to depend on the gel to drip out from the head. But the ombre brush, or how people doing it. And this is the trend where me and about few other people have started this trend from our circle. So we have just the right tool. We use ombre brush. Okay. But the people that learn from us, they cannot do it because they don't have the right ombre brush. Most ombre brush only have a couple of hair right here, where this ombre brush is a full ombre brush. Basically, what happened is I scoop it, gel gonna be right here, but since this ombre, gel can sip through on the back. It would not work like that with a solid brush. So this brush, I can scoop like this. And that's why not a lot of people can do it, because a typical ombre brush, the hair is so spread so far apart that when it comes to releasing it, or when it comes to scooping it, it's very difficult to scoop. You can release it, but you cannot just hold the marble like this. It's impossible with most ombre brush. But this is a full ombre brush, and it sip out. See, in the bottom, it's sipping out. So literally, and I don't even need top coat sometimes. You need top coat to make it flow better. But see, I don't even need top coat. This is so beautiful, you guys. Let me do it again. Touch it. See, it's sipping out on the back so easily. See that? I can guide it out through here a little bit more. And I can erase these. Make sure I clean this. And then I can scoop a fresh one. And it depends on what kind of marble pattern you have in. And that is how it's gonna come out. Okay. And usually people do it on top of top coat or blooming gels. But that is what this ombre are for. Is for doing gels marble. So this ombre brush an absolute heaven to use. And when you use this ombre brush, it is impossible to use anything else that even resembling an ombre brush. And I put it right in the big area up here for ombre brush. Since we talk about marble, we gotta talk about the marble FishTail brush, one of the easiest brush for marbling. Back in the old day, when I want to do crackle glass pattern or court or marble pattern, I have to draw this line out here. I have to draw this line. Okay, and then I have to take some kind of brush, like your shading brush, but I have to take some kind of brush and try to blend it out like this. Because that what court is that it's blendy on one side and it's sharp on the other side. So I have to blend this line out like that. And then blend this side out like that. See, that's what quad is. And then I blend this one out. And keep the other side sharp. See, the other side is really sharp. And then this side is blendy. It's exhausting. I'm just gonna stop right there. It's so exhausting. This brush is constructed like this. Okay, that's why I call it fishtail. It have two fine point, like two liner brush. And then it have this. This is the beauty of it. A gradient slope that when you drag out a line, this side will keep the line sharp, while this side, the line will be blendy. So the line will blend on one side and sharp on the others. And two of the points simultaneously make it amazing for marble. Now I am going to put some black inks out here. And it's okay if it becomes dry. I am going to dip the brush in. So you are prepping the brush with colors. Prep the brush in just like this. Okay, so when you run, you don't just run up and down like this, but you run side to side like that. And you use acetone to define it like this. Okay, and that is just on top of like white polish. I don't put any top coat or anything on it. I'm just doing it straight on white polish. Just like that. Or you can do it on top coat. And I'll show you the difference. Apply top coat on so you can see that it's very stainy and polished. Especially if you do on matte, it's also very stainy. Now I'm going to put shine on. Now, when the shine is completely clear, and I am going to go here and wake some of the ink off. And if you just put it in and barely anything happen, it be like this. You put it in and if there's no line or anything, it's because you have too much acetone. So you should put a little bit of acetone just to wake it up like this. So it can go into your brush. But in order for you to draw, you need minimum amount of acetone. And it's less stainy on a top coat surface. So now you can start to do some marbleizing like this. Like that. Or if you want it to be more refined or more deep, you can add more like that. You can pre-add it in. And then whenever it's a little dry, okay, it's air dry, you can take some acetone, but only a little bit. Only a little bit. If you take a lot like this, and when you apply and you drag and nothing coming out, it's just because you moving with acetone. There's no color in it. The acetone in here, it's just for waking the gel, the ink up, so it's not dry anymore. But you have to make sure the amount of acetone is minimum. So it's only the ink will stick on your brush, and when you move, you can see lines that it's make. See that? Let me zoom in so you can see. See, I go up here. Now my brush is already semi-dry, so you can see these lines that I make. See that? There. It's beautiful. So definitely you have to do some practice. Don't just do it on your client immediately, because you want your line to be like this. To be nice and sharp. Okay? Like that. That is crazy. See that? But let me dip an acetone again. See, if I turn it up and I move immediately, sometimes there's nothing. There's nothing because it's full of acetone. So you have to let it dry. You have to let it dry just a little bit. There, you start to see color. That means that what in here is ink. You have to take the acetone and you have to melt the ink and it go into the brush. But acetone, the reason why I use it because it evaporates very fast. So now it's already evaporate, but the ink is fluid now. It's going into your brush. So now you can use it to move like that. See? Beautiful. It's so easy too. Oh, and it's addicting. Okay, and how you can make the marble pretty, that's up to you. That's up to how your eyes are judging beauty, where you move. I'm just been talking, so it's looking crazy. There's line everywhere, but I just want to show you what it does. See, I'm just dipping acetone again, so I cannot move. I can stir it up, but I don't want to move yet. I want to wait just a few seconds. Now I can move. See that? It's very tricky. But when you understand it, oh, it is amazing to do marble with. There's no way that you can draw with this. It's impossible. this delicate line and this delicate shading. Okay, dip in just a little bit of acetone. I can release it up on a palette right here, so there's not a lot. Go in here, I stir it up, stay there for a little bit, and now you can move. There you go. You just have to wait for a little bit. There you go. Oh, look at this line. I'm going crazy. Okay, I'm getting too addicted to dabble with this. So I'm going to wrap it up and I'm going to move on to the next brush. Until this day, I'm still like very impressed with how this works. Oh, it's crazy marble. Okay, now zoom out. So remember, the trick to this brush is, see the dryness of it? You can go in with acetone to make it awaken, make it come to life. Okay, liquidate it like this, liquidate it. But don't move it until a few seconds, until the acetone is dry up. Then you can move, see this line? Yeah, and move side to side so the line is intercept each other. Okay, and that is the marble FishTail brush. I am putting it right in here, in the middle. Now, this brush is one stroke brush. It's for one stroke painting. And the one that know about one stroke painting know about it. And the one that doesn't know about one stroke painting, get ready to be blown away. So when it comes to one stroke painting, this is the only brush that is for, is one stroke brush, is a flat brush or an angle brush. Okay, it has to have a nice sharp cut. So you need to cut it at some point. So I'm gonna take out 2 of these gels. These are one stroke liners for one stroke painting, and in order for you to do one stroke painting, the paints have to be very opaque. If it like normal gel paint or gel polish, it will not work. It have to be very, very opaque, meaning full cover, meaning very pigmented. Okay, now how you load it is one side, this side, in the back too. Have black gels and another gel color right here, white gel colors, right? Rock it side to side, just so this side have gels and the back also have gels. Now you're gonna come over here and you are going to stroke it down. Okay, you can wiggle it just to make sure all the hair bristle will scatter out so all the gel can go in it. And you're gonna flip it over this side and doing the same thing. Now you have to load it quite a bit because this brush is a big brush. You need more gel. You need to be saturated with gel. Just like when I show you in the beginning, I show you how to load the liner brush. That's exactly how you load it. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Just to make sure all the hair was spreading out. Okay, you need a little more. Loading this is very important to make one stroke painting work for you. Okay, and don't go too much to the left, too much to the right. You'll blend all the colors, both of the colors. So you have to stay right here. Now, when it's already soaked into your brush, the color is already soaked in. Now you no longer wiggle it. You go straight to make sure you have a definition between black and white. Okay. So you need to learn 2 strokes. One is straight down like this. There is a stroke. And then one is across. There is a cut. Across like that. So that is how you move. Okay, I'm gonna take one nail out. And I'm gonna perform one stroke painting for you. Ready? I'm gonna go up. I'm gonna stroke and then I'm gonna pull back. Okay, flowers. gonna go up, I'm gonna stroke and pull back. Okay. Stroke, brush, and pull back. Again, cut out, spin around, pull back. Cut out, spin again, pull back. Okay, now I'm gonna do more, but first I will tell you that when you stroke, here's a trick to the petal. When you stroke, you don't just from here, you stroke all the way over here. You don't do that. Okay, let me take more gels and I'll show you. When you stroke, you have to keep a pivot point, meaning the black down here have to, let me draw it out. See, when you stroke, if it like this, it's not a petal stroke. Instead, it have to be like this. It have to keep a pivot point. So your brush, you cannot just move from A to B like this, but you only move up here and you keep this point tilt like this. Spin. Let me get a bigger one. See, imagine that this is a brush, okay? You don't move like this. That's not how you move. But you keep this point stay here, lock in here like this, and then you move like that. You keep a pivot point. You only move the top, okay? You leave the bottom alone. So you cut out, and when you stroke, if you want, you can spin it a little bit and then cut in, okay? Or you can do this. You can repeat it like this. Where you cut out, you twirl, you go in, go back out, you twirl, you go in, back out, twirl, in. Like this. Let me show you. Okay. Take this. And remember, you always need to reload your gels. Just to make sure that you have gels. And then go in here. Keep the black side pivot. Okay. And the white, you go out, twirl, go in. Go out, twirl, go in, go out, you twirl, you go in, go out, and cut it out. See how awesome it is? That's one stroke. Are you blown away by the way we get the color, the gradient? This is the only way you can do it, is two colors in the same brush. And that is called one stroke brush, and then one stroke gel. Because of that, you have to, a typical gel cannot do this, you guys, because you have to stroke it thin, right? A typical gel, when you stroke it really thin, you don't see a lot of colors. So it have to be opaque. The gel have to be opaque. And then maybe this right here. Some petal underneath. So that is the story of one stroke brush. It's for one stroke art. Now, the last brush, the most special brush. Okay, this is built for pigments. It's $19.99, so it's more pricey than the rest. And pigment right here, I have pigment base. Pigment base is a gel with an inhibition layer that are perfect for pigment. You don't want to use a gel polish with a really wet inhibition layer. It will make your pigment muddy. Like putting makeup in a greasy face full of lotion. It's like that. You want your face to be nice and dry. To put it on powder foundation, not greasy with lotion. It wouldn't work when you apply powder foundation on. So cure this. So that layer of inhibition, when I get out, the inhibition layer is going to be sticky but dry. And I'm going to get out my colors. Let's take out blue, green, and pink. No, yellow. Okay. Now, let's show you how to use this. Do not dip it into any of these or any of the liquid or anything that are liquid. It's not used for liquid. Okay. So you how you take it out is you dip it in to pigment. You take it out on a paper towel and you smudge it in like this. Okay, now you have color in your brush. So you gotta knock it out. Gotta take something like this and knock it out. If not, loose dust. You see this? This particle right here is caused from loose dust and it's kicking out. And it's gonna be all over your nail like that if you don't knock it out. So you have to remember to knock it off. Then you can go in here and you can start painting on. Okay. And when people see me do this, they go home and they do this too. Only one stroke at a time for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't want to see any streak. If you stroke and you see streak, that is imperfect. So you have to analyze the way you stroke. So this is let's say this is a nail surface right here. Okay. This is bird eye view, this is side view. So I'm in the air right now. I'm going down to the surface. I run lightly. Not like this, but tilted like this. Okay, run down, run lightly, and then slowly lift. Okay, it's like an airplane. Slowly land, and then slowly lift. Like that. That is how you brush it, like feathers. Okay. So when people do it, especially if they do it really fast, this is what they do. I watch them. I understand their pattern. They up here, they go down, they run, and then they stop. And then they up here, go down, run, they stop. So they jab in it like that. They stab in it. They don't glide through it like this. So don't be like this. Don't go like that. Or don't be right upside down vertical like this and then doing like that. That's not good. Just glide, glide. So that is what I'm doing, is I'm gliding. Let me show you again, like that. I'm gliding, okay? And you do 1, good, 2, good, 3, good. Then you can pick up the speed. 1, 2, 3, good. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you can go fast. You need to practice on it until your stroke are perfect. Then you can start going fast. No streak. If you have streak, then you need to slow down and examine it. And that is how you blend out pigments. And of course, the surface of pigment base are perfect for you to blend. Now, let's say I want to stop right here. Okay, this up here are solid blue, and then I have a graduation like this. That is when you can move on to another color. If it's imperfect, don't you put on another colors. That is how you achieve perfect pigment. Each color have to be perfect before you move on. And how you move on is you put in this, and you do this, or you do this. You just basically wipe the color away. You wipe it away, and then you move on to the next color. Same thing. Smudge it in, knock it off. You can start anywhere up here because it's already perfect. So area that are solid blue, green couldn't really get to it. Anywhere that's half blue, half white, that is when green get to it and it become like a teal when it's blend. And then down here have to be perfect. You see, you start anywhere up here, but you have to fade it really perfectly down. And then you stop. Again, if it's perfect, you stop. And then if it's too heavy, what you can do is you can brush your brush over the paper towel a few times to make the color lighter. And when the color is lighter, you blend easier. Okay, and if it seems like there's a lot of green up here, don't worry. When you dust it, it will show the blue more. It will show more blue. So what's going on is I'm going to take another color, which is yellow. And again, when I go in, I don't really care if it's right here or right here. I can go all the way up here because anywhere that there is solid green, yellow couldn't really get to it. But right at the area where it's faded, that is the way the yellow starts to emerge. You can blend it all the way down. Now, if you deal with like black or any strong colors, Then beside removing the color like this, you can also use acetone, but it have to be acetone. It's not gonna dry out your brush because acetone, this brush is a dry brush. So of course, the drier the better. So don't worry about the lifespan of this. Don't worry that it's too dry, it's gonna damage it. The drier the better. So you can dip into this, okay? And then you can wipe it out. Okay, just dip into it and wipe it out. Now, when it's dry, what happens is it gets a little stiff. The reason why it gets a little stiff because powder were in it, when liquid are in it, it solidifies some of the powder that are left. So it's going to be solid, and you just have to move like this to just thaw it out, break the bristle apart. But in order for you to use acetone, you have to have two brushes because you're going to wipe this, clean this, but it's need about 30 seconds to dry. So you put it down and then you get another brush and you work on another colors. And when you dry that brush and cleanse it, you can put it right here and then pick up this brush. So you rotate it if you were to use acetone. But most of the time, I just clean it like this, dry clean it. That this is a dry brush. And put it right here in the big space. So that is how I orchestrate my brush. I can grab everything very easily. See that? I can grab it. See, leave the space here. I know that these are the thin brush and these are the thick brush. And then these are the special brush and the ombre brush and the pigment brush. I put it all right here along with all my tools. Of course, I have more tool and more brushes, but in the master kit, that brush kit is including all the important brush that you need. The rest are just extras. And of course, later I will make more brush kit. Like I can make like a tool kit and such for all the tool that you use. For like these tool, engraving spatula or the dotting tool, and the knife and the silicone tool, stuff like that. And of course, I will have more brush lesson later because this is what kind of brush that we are dealing with. But later on, I need a lesson on really in depth of cleaning and loading and maintaining and then I have a lesson on how you draw line work. I already have a line work lesson, but I can do another one on in depth of the movement of your brush and such. So this is my first lesson on the Nail Art Master Brush Kit. I hope you enjoy, and don't forget to subscribe us on YouTube at Tinovo. And everything that I use today is available on www.tinovo.shop. And until next time, bye-bye.